Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the CurioFlow Show. I'm excited to be back with you all again.
Yeah, definitely.
And as always, we are diving into the world of tech today. Um, it's just amazing how fast things change.
Yeah,
Especially when we're talking about things like self-driving cars.
absolutely.
It just seems like every day there's something new, a new breakthrough, a new controversy, you know? But hey, that's why we're here, right? To, really kind of dig in and explore these questions that keep us all up at night.
For sure. And I think the landscape is changing so quickly, and there are so many different players, each with their own unique approach to this problem, which I think is so fascinating.
Yeah. Speaking of unique approaches, we got to talk about Tesla, right? Elon Musk, the ultimate tech showman.
Yeah.
He's got this grand vision for this, Tesla RoboTaxi empire, right? Where you just you tap on your phone and a driverless Tesla whisks you away to wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
He even unveiled this wild cybercab prototype, a driverless two-seater with no steering wheel and no pedals. Can you imagine that?
I mean, it's certainly a bold vision. And, Elon Musk is known for his ambitious timelines.
Yeah.
He's aiming for production before 2027. And he's even talking about unsupervised, fully autonomous Model 3s and Ys on the road by 2025, at least in California and Texas, with a full-fledged RoboTaxi network by 2026.
So basically he's saying we're all going to be riding in robotaxis by this time next year.
Well, that's what he says.
I don't know if I'm quite ready to give up the wheel just yet, but hey, I'm open to it. But hold on a second. Isn't Tesla facing some pretty serious regulatory hurdles with all of this?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, getting a car with no steering wheel or pedals approved by the NHTSA,
Yeah.
that is a massive challenge. And then on top of that, you have all these state-by-state regulations for robo-taxi networks.
Yeah.
Tesla doesn't even have permits for driverless testing in some key states like California.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's a tangled web of legal complexities for sure.
It's amazing how much goes on behind the scenes, right?
Sure.
To actually bring these futuristic technologies to life.
Oh, absolutely.
But speaking of challenges, Tesla's full self-driving or FSD system,
Yeah.
it's been making headlines,
Yeah.
but not always for the right reasons, right?
Right.
The NHTSA is currently investigating, several FSD-related crashes, including a fatal pedestrian accident.
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, there have been some very high-profile incidents involving FSD, and the NHTSA is also looking into a previous recall where FSD was literally running stop signs and ignoring traffic laws.
Oh, wow.
Tesla did issue a software update to address that,
Okay.
but the NHTSA is still investigating its effectiveness.
Okay. So we've got a car that's supposed to be driving itself, running stop signs.
Yeah.
That's a little concerning, to say the least.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, how reliable is this technology really? And, is Tesla's approach of relying solely on cameras for its autonomous driving system?
Yeah.
Is that putting them at a disadvantage compared to competitors that are using LiDAR and radar in addition to cameras?
That's a great question, and it's something that is, hotly debated in the industry. Tesla believes that their camera's only approach is sufficient.
Okay.
But a lot of experts argue that LiDAR and radar provide a really critical redundancy, especially in challenging weather conditions or low visibility situations.
It's like saying, hey, I can drive just fine with one eye closed.
Yeah.
Just feels like you're missing out on, a whole dimension of perception. But hey, maybe that's just me. But while Tesla's busy navigating these regulatory hurdles and defending their technology, the competition isn't sitting still. Right?
Oh, no, not at all.
In fact, there's some serious contenders emerging, particularly from China.
Absolutely. China's autonomous vehicle market is developing at an incredible pace. In the first half of 2024, over 55% of new passenger vehicles in China had Level 2 autonomous driving systems, which means they can assist with things like lane keeping and adaptive cruise control.
That's impressive. It seems like they're really committed to, becoming a leader in this space.
They are, and their approach is very integrated. They're really focusing on developing a vehicle road cloud system,
Okay.
which means they're aligning the infrastructure, the regulations, and the data sharing to create a more harmonious ecosystem for driverless vehicles to operate in.
It's like they're building smart cities designed specifically for these self-driving cars.
Exactly.
I'm curious, are there any Chinese companies already offering robotaxi services? Because, here in the U.S., a lot of companies are still in the testing phase, right?
So there are actually several Chinese companies already offering robotaxi services.
Oh, wow.
Pony.ai, for example, is operating in major cities like Beijing and Shanghai.
Okay.
And they've logged an impressive 35 million kilometers in autonomous driving test mileage.
Wow.
And they're partnering with established automakers like BAIC Group to develop even more advanced self-driving systems.
So it sounds like China is really pulling ahead in this race.
Yeah, they're definitely making significant progress.
So while Tesla's battling regulators and skeptics over here,
Yeah.
Chinese companies are racking up miles and passengers. It's like a tortoise and hare situation, isn't it?
It is in some way.
But wait, Tesla isn't giving up on China, is it?
No, not at all. They've announced that the Chinese version of their full self-driving system is slated for release in the first quarter of 2025.
Okay.
But of course, that's pending regulatory approval, which, as we've discussed, is no small feat in any country, let alone China.
It's a good reminder that innovation isn't just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's also about navigating this complex web of regulations and cultural differences and consumer expectations.
Absolutely.
Speaking of innovation, there's another contender in this autonomous vehicle race that's worth mentioning, and that's Zoox.
Oh, yeah. Zoox.
They're a bit more under the radar compared to Tesla, but they've been making some impressive strides, especially when it comes to actually deploying RoboTaxis.
Yeah, you're right. Zoox is really interesting.
Okay.
They're actually already launching driverless ride-hailing services in San Francisco and Las Vegas. And their vehicles are unlike anything else on the road. I mean, no steering wheel, no pedals.
Really?
Just pure RoboTaxi shaped like a futuristic toaster.
A driverless toaster on wheels.
Pretty much.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
Sign me up. But didn't Zoox also have a bit of a run-in with the NHTSA?
Oh, yeah.
Something about sudden braking incidents.
Yeah, so the NHTSA did investigate Zoox for sudden braking incidents.
Okay.
Which unfortunately did result in some injuries.
Oh, no.
However, these incidents all involved test vehicles, not the actual robotaxis they're currently using for their ride-hailing service.
Okay.
So, despite all that scrutiny, they've managed to secure regulatory approval for testing and deployment in several U.S. cities.
It seems like even the most promising technologies, hit bumps in the road.
Yeah.
But it's how they learn from those challenges and adapt that really determines their ultimate success, right? It's almost like they're writing the rule book as they go along.
It really is.
I mean, we're talking about technology that could fundamentally transform transportation as we know it.
Absolutely. And, with any groundbreaking technology like this, there are bound to be unforeseen challenges and ethical considerations that come up. I mean, the whole industry is navigating uncharted territory.
Yeah.
And it raises a lot of really fascinating questions, like what happens to all the professional drivers when autonomous vehicles become the norm?
Yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling to think about all the ripple effects this could have.
Yeah.
On employment and urban planning and even social interaction.
For sure.
I mean, will we all just be staring at our phones in our driverless pods, completely disconnected from the world around us?
Well, that's certainly a possibility, and it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, the potential benefits are huge, right? Increased safety, reduced congestion, greater accessibility for people who can't drive.
Yeah.
But the potential downsides, especially the social and economic ones, those can't be ignored either.
Right.
And it's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we as a society choose to integrate it into our lives.
Sometimes I think back at the early days of the internet.
Yeah.
When it was this vast unexplored frontier full of so much promise and potential and, then things got complicated.
Right.
It's almost like we're at a similar inflection point with self-driving cars.
I think that's a really great analogy.
We're on the cusp of something huge, but we're still figuring out, the rules of the game, and the stakes are incredibly high.
Yeah, they really are. Just like the internet, self-driving cars have the potential to revolutionize our world,
Yeah.
but they also come with a responsibility to use them wisely and ethically.
Right.
We really need to learn from past technological revolutions and try to anticipate potential pitfalls before they become full-blown crises.
So it's not just about who wins the race to autonomy.
Right.
It's about ensuring that that finish line leads to a better future for everyone.
Exactly.
But how do we ensure that? I mean, it's easy to feel kind of powerless amidst these massive technological shifts.
I
Or
understand.
that we're just along for the ride.
Well, that's where informed curiosity comes in.
Okay.
The more we understand about this technology, the more we engage in these critical discussions about its implications, the more empowered we are to shape its trajectory.
Yeah.
We need to be active participants in this technological revolution, not passive bystanders.
So instead of just being wowed by, the latest self-driving car demo,
Right.
we need to be asking the tough questions like, how safe is this really?
Yeah.
What are the ethical implications? How will this impact jobs and our community?
Exactly. We need to be demanding transparency from companies,
Yeah,
holding lawmakers accountable for creating sensible regulations, and really advocating for a future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
it's a powerful reminder that the future isn't something that just happens to us.
Right.
It's something that we create collectively through our choices, our actions, and yes, our relentless curiosity.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's like we're all, collectively writing the script for the future of transportation. And the choices we make today,
Yeah.
the questions we ask, the conversations we have, they all kind of play a role in what that future looks like.
I agree.
Speaking of choices, we've talked about Tesla, we've talked about Chinese companies, we've talked about Zoox. But are there any other players in this autonomous vehicle game that we should be keeping an eye on?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are so many fascinating companies and research groups out there that are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible. For example, there's Waymo,
Okay.
which was spun out of Google's self-driving car project.
Right.
They've been logging millions of miles in real-world conditions, and they're already offering limited RoboTaxi services in places like Phoenix, Arizona.
Waymo. Yeah, I've heard of them. They're the ones with those cute little Firefly cars.
Exactly.
I always thought those were just prototypes, but I guess they're actually out there on the roads now.
Yeah, they're out there.
It's crazy how quickly things are moving. What about self-driving trucks? I've seen some pretty cool demos of those, too. Are those close to becoming a reality?
Self-driving trucks are definitely on the horizon. Companies like Too Simple, Aurora, and Embark,
Right.
they're all developing autonomous trucking technologies.
Yeah.
And the potential benefits there are huge, especially in terms of reducing accidents and improving efficiency. Imagine a world where trucks can just drive 24/7, without needing to stop for rest breaks.
That would be incredible. It would completely revolutionize the logistics and shipping industries.
Exactly.
But I can also imagine some pushback,
Yeah.
from truck drivers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's a complex issue, and it
Yeah.
really highlights, the need for careful planning and thoughtful transitions as we kind of embrace these new technologies.
Yeah, it's not just about the tech itself.
Right.
It's about how we manage its impact on people's lives.
Exactly. Finding that balance, right?
Exactly.
So as we wrap up our exploration of, this fascinating world of self-driving cars,
Yeah.
what are some of the key takeaways? What should our listeners be thinking about as they, step out of their driver's seats and into this autonomous future?
Well, I think the first takeaway is that the future of transportation is going to be radically different
Yeah.
from what we're used to. Self-driving cars are no longer a science fiction fantasy. They're a reality that's rapidly approaching.
And this reality is unfolding, on multiple fronts. We've got companies like Tesla pushing the boundaries of what's technologically possible, even if it means, bending the rules sometimes.
Yeah.
We have Chinese companies rapidly catching up and deploying self-driving vehicles on a massive scale.
That's right.
And we have companies like Zoox and Waymo focusing on specific applications like RoboTaxis.
Yeah. It's a very dynamic and evolving landscape.
Yeah.
It's hard to predict exactly what the future holds.
For sure.
Yeah.
But as we've discussed, the key is to stay curious,
Yeah.
stay informed, and stay engaged.
Absolutely.
The more we understand about these technologies, the more we can actively participate in shaping, their development and integration into our lives.
Couldn't agree more.
Right? We can't just passively accept whatever the tech companies and the governments decide for us.
Yep.
We need to be asking questions, demanding transparency, and advocating for a future that benefits all of us.
Absolutely. And remember, the future isn't set in stone.
Yeah.
It's a canvas that's still being painted, and we all have a brush.
I love that.
So let's use our curiosity, our creativity, and our collective wisdom to create a future where technology empowers us, connects us, and helps us build a better world for ourselves and for generations to come.
It's a beautiful thought
Thanks.
and a powerful reminder that we're not just passengers on this ride. We're the co-creators of our destiny.
Exactly.
So buckle up, folks, because the journey is just beginning. And remember, the most breathtaking views are often found on the roads less traveled.
That's right.
So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that CurioFlow alive.
Thanks for joining us on this adventure. Until next time, stay curious.